Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about the newly released trailer that came out for season 2 of Luke Cage. It just came out today. I mean, obviously by the time you see this, it'll be like a week ago, but nevertheless, if you haven't seen the trailer, obviously I'll include a link to it in the description down below. So also do know I'm going to be talking about some kind of spoilers and stuff for season 1 of Luke Cage. So if you haven't seen that, like, don't watch this video because I'll spoil some things. But nevertheless, I highly recommend you check out season 1 of Luke Cage if you haven't already. Nevertheless, kind of diving into this trailer, obviously I was already excited for season 2, but obviously this trailer got me even more excited, kind of giving us a little bit more plot development. For one, I appreciate with this trailer, it seems that Luke is embracing the whole heroism thing, because I feel like amongst all the Netflix heroes, you know, whether it be Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, the Punisher, like, he's the only one that kind of fully embraces the heroism type of situation. Everyone else kind of, it's more like, not necessarily 100% circumstance, but it kind of plays a role in it. They're not trying to be heroes. He is. Can we even see him having the kid or dude from season 1 who was kind of handing out like the bootleg DVDs and stuff of like the events of the first Avengers movie, and basically that dude is like recording him, so it's kind of like a message to all the bad guys. I guess it's kind of to make him go a little viral, to kind of get the message out there, like, yo, Harlem's protected by Luke Cage, stay out type of situation. Like I said, it seems like he's embracing it a lot more. I mean, he embraced it a lot more in season 1 too, but I feel like now that kind of all the cards are on the table, he's embracing it even more, trying to do his best, you know, to help Harlem. And like I said, it just feels like he's very different amongst the others in just how he approaches the whole heroism thing. I mean, plus he's kind of out in the open. I mean, Daredevil does a whole like being out in the open, like being heroic out in the open, but it's like obviously he wears a mask. Obviously that's kind of like makes him very different. It's just unique. I feel like obviously each show's got its own style and feel to it. I think that's kind of what lends itself very nicely to Luke, is his, you know, it's a combination of trying to, you know, it seems like this kind of plays into who he's always been, but it's also because like I have these powers, I can do good, I can help people, and that's all he wants to do. But I also appreciate what this season's also setting up, where it seems like it's playing into Luke's kind of darker nature, like kind of like how far, I mean, the trailer literally says it itself, like how far are you willing to go to like do what you need to do. Like it's like, because even Claire's calling him out, it's like, you've never been like brutal, because Luke has always held himself back. And I'm curious about that too, because that's something that Stick kind of talked to Luke about in Defender season 1, where he was basically like, you've been holding back, kind of stop doing that. So maybe like Luke kind of takes that advice in this season, especially when it comes to the main antagonist, which I'll kind of get to in a second. But maybe that kind of makes him go like, okay, I need to step up my game, because it's like, if I want to protect Harlem, maybe I need to scare some of these bad guys. If people think like, oh, I'm this friendly giant that won't hurt them, if I don't put them in their place, they're just going to keep coming back like a virus. That might be the type of situation that Luke might gain that mentality over the course of the season. So that basically, if Luke wants to get the job done, will he have to compromise his own stances and his own beliefs? I'm very interested to kind of see like that dynamic play out for Luke's character, because he has always been kind of like a straight shooter so far when it comes to this whole situation. When it comes to the whole hero, he hasn't been as conflicted like as like, you know, the others might have been, like, you know, whether it be like Matt kind of having his whole issue, you know, his own code and everything, but Jessica also not being really into the whole heroism thing, and even Danny, like his whole situation being more a responsibility as the Iron Fist rather than just something he outright went into himself. Because this is something Luke kind of put himself out there, whereas, you know, the others not necessarily. You get what I'm trying to say? Really quickly, obviously talking about the main antagonist, it's very interesting because, for one, like even when he went up against Diamondback last season, like when Diamondback had the suit and everything, I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but I don't remember Diamondback making him bleed like that. Like it seeming like it's such a one-sided fight when the dude like lays Luke out. So that's very interesting. Coming from the previews, it seems like he's kind of got a similar thing to Luke, the way the bullets hit him. But it also seemed like very different, because it looked like when the bullets hit him, it looked like you could see the burn marks on his skin. And I feel like for Luke, that's not the case. So it's like, obviously whatever his deal is, it's very different. I mean, let's not forget that that doctor still exists. The dude who helped basically make Luke who he is. He got bits of his research back, and the last time we saw him, I think he was heading into Diamondback's room at the end of season 1. So I don't know if he'll play a role this season, whether he plays a role in this main antagonist stepping up. I mean, part of me wonders, is that dude even going to be like, I mean, this main antagonist, will he even be science fictional? Will he kind of be created like Luke, or is he kind of on the more mystical side of things? I kind of want to lean toward mystical, just the way like certain things are represented in the season kind of make me think that, but maybe that's not the case at all. It'd be interesting if it was mystical. I'd be kind of interested in the MCU doing more stuff with like magic and stuff like that, but nevertheless. But I also appreciate the fact is that it is like a super powered villain. I really I like that approach, because obviously it's something I talked about before, like everyone's villains up to this point except for Jessica Jones have been super powered people. Like I said, the hand situation is always kind of like that's kind of its own thing. But nevertheless, it's nice because even Diamondback was like, yeah, Diamondback and Luke's biggest problem last season was like the bullets that could pierce his skin. That's what makes this dude so deadly, because he can actually do it without, like, you know, some super suit like Diamondback did, you know? So that's what makes this whole thing interesting. And I guess that's going to play a role in the episode too, where it's kind of, I mean, the season where it's like, most people are going to be like, whoa, Luke Cage isn't as invincible as we thought he was. There's someone who's already stepping up to him, so that's probably going to make a lot more criminals a lot more brazen and willing to try and take him down. I do like that they kind of play with it a little bit, because like Luke approaches some guys and like, okay, like, you really gonna do this? And they're like, we gotta let people know at least we tried to, you know, go at you like that. So I thought that was kind of nice. It also seems like obviously Shade and Mariah pop up in the trailer, but it doesn't seem like they're as prominent. But who's to say? They might have their whole side thing going on. They might even work with the main antagonist. Might not, because you know, Mariah kind of had that whole like anti-superpowered people thing last season. So I don't know if like she'll play that up a little bit more. It's like, oh, look at these quote-unquote superpowered freaks causing trouble in Harlem. So I'm curious to see what she does, how she tries to spin it this season, like what her and Shade's whole thing going to be about. Because obviously she's got her own plans for Harlem, so I'm curious to see how she approaches it. Like whether or not she's just going to be like a side villain, or like I said, will she kind of have her and Shades kind of have their own little thing in the season or not. It's going to be interesting. And obviously another big thing that came about for this trailer, and it's something I kind of already knew because of set photos and stuff like that, as well as I know it's kind of true to her character in the comic books. It's a whole Misty thing, which it seems like from the trailers, like obviously I'm referencing the whole like robotic arm she has. It seems like she doesn't get that until later in the season. At least, I don't know. Like I didn't really particularly, obviously it didn't become more prominent until like the later parts of the trailer. So I kind of get the feeling like she probably doesn't get it. Like it's most likely she's probably on a lot of desk duty stuff, so she probably isn't as active as she was when it comes to police work, just because of that situation. So I do like that whole situation. I like that joke of like, Luke's like, I'm not really looking for, you know, a sidekick. And she's like, who says I'm your sidekick? You're mine. And he's like, well, this is my show. I'm the one who says that you're my sidekick. I love that. I'm very interested to see kind of Misty step up in that way. I was actually surprised finding out that about her like that. She's pretty badass in the comic books too. So I'm interested to see them kind of bring that to the character this season and see like what her story ends up being. Because it looks like, because obviously like, for Misty, it seems like her job is a big part of her, and probably not being able to do it is probably going to be a big struggle she has, of like not feeling like she's able to do what she can or wants, you know, to do to help Harlem. So it seems like probably for her, it's like she probably feels like she probably has to sit on the sidelines a lot, but like with this robotic arm, it gives her the chance to kind of be and, you know, mix up in the fray herself, you know. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what they do with Misty. Another thing I'm wondering about is, will they do the whole heroes for hire type of thing? Will they kind of set that up this season or not? If you don't know, that's something that Luke and Danny kind of do. Like it's something I know only a tiny bit about. It's like a whole thing in the comic books, but it's kind of like this business they run. I guess it's kind of like it's kind of almost like an Alias type of thing. It's like, oh, we're heroes for hire, you know? So I'm curious to see if that's something that will kind of be hinted at or even like set up this season or not. That'd be kind of interesting. I mean, obviously there's already the crossover with Iron Fist in a sense of like, that's where the whole robotic arm that Misty gets comes from. It's from Rand Industries. So my question to you guys is, what are your thoughts on the trailers? What are some of the things that you're looking forward to in season 2? Some stuff that you'd like to see? What stuff that you expect to see in season 2? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this video. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.